Welcome to the final part of Thor's lightning call animation. We started here, and now we're taking it here in day 10 of the 28-day animation challenge. By the end, I think you're both going to be really happy with what you've created and how much you've learned along the way. Let's go. By the way, if you have no idea what this 28-day challenge even is, just click the card above and the intro video will walk you through all the details you need to know. As a reminder, this is where we left off. Now let's take that through refining and polish completely. Here is what it looks like in auto tangent without any changes from our stepped. So not too bad. It's not by any means the most perfect animation in the world. There's definitely some things about it I don't like, but I think overall the concepts are working. For me, the beginning arm move here is a little bit funky. Some of these in-betweens, it's not so smooth. The hold here is working pretty well. Maybe some adjustments on that arm. I think the hip, we can work on the hip arc, the cog arc here to make that better and probably make the step a little punchier. But overall, I think this is probably the move that's working the best. And then the most noticeable thing about this move is the jiggly arm, how it's kind of straight and then bent and then straight. So we'll want to get rid of those jiggles. There's especially a big one here on 25, which we might just, set an extra key there to fix that and frame by frame it. The catching of the hammer is working okay. It's a little slow after this initial impact frame, so this is giving us some speed, and then I think it's getting a little too slow through here to get to the extreme. And when we're here, we want that arm and that chest and everything to be going back more, kind of starting its loop to wind up into this. And I think this portion of the lift is taking a little too long, so we can work that out. Then for me here at the ending pose, we got a nice pop into it. It's a little clunky and linear hitting this pose and in the body because we overshoot all the rotations and then they all come back at the same time. And then one of the other most noticeable things is the very clear wall hit with the cog right here as it comes over to the left. Just hits really hard, and there's this bounce back to the screen right here and then back left again. I don't think we need that. I think we'll just continue going left the whole time. We can check our reference to see if it does that. This arm's a little busy. And then after we sort out the cog and the body here, then I would work on that arm arc. And the last thing for me, last one of the major things would be the rotation of the hammer. If we're looking at the arc in terms of like the top of the hammer or the center of the hammer, that's not super clean. There isn't like the best arc on it, the best drag either. So those are the things that I want to aim to work on in this phase, and this will just be the first pass of it. So I'm going to start with the cog and take it from there. And I'm going to start with this. I think this first move here. So we're just going pretty much to 24. Pull up our arc tracker. We can see we are getting a little bit of a loop there, which is nice into the step. I would say we probably want to mess around with this up and down here. And I'm just seeing with this color temperature that the spacing is a little off. Yeah, we got like a slowdown happening in the translate Z. And it's when you've got auto tangent, you got all these extra keys that sometimes you can go and delete things to make them smoother. And I think in terms of the weight shift here, we can probably take a little longer to come around. Or maybe this would be enough. Just adding that little bit of definition there. Just to loop him a little, arc him a little better through there. I think maybe I can bring this back some. I just want to favor this extreme weight shift a bit and see how that looks. And I'm not going to favor here just to kind of keep him fast. Getting there. Yeah, I think that's working. We can clean up the hip. I think I'll go for something like that. So we need the hip weight to go, you know, when the weight shifts over to this leg, that hip is going to rotate up on that side. And then it's going to shift over to the other. What makes this move unusual is that, you know, we're kind of ending in this upper pose here, where he's lifted up and always going forward. So we kind of want to maintain this hip shape without changing it too much. That looks good enough. I think the head turn is working pretty well as well. Maybe could have a little keep alive in there. I like what the rest of the body's doing. The the spine, the torso. So we just got that little bit of movement there and that neck and that head to go along with this. And now the bigger fish to fry is going to be this hand. One easy way to get a quick handle on this is just the arc tracker. The arm looks like it kind of gets stuck here. Big jump there. So maybe I can bring this arm further forward. I think it's more a rotation thing. I'm just going to copy this rotation back. Might be a subtle gimbal going on there. Let's see. Yeah, that's what was happening there. It was gimbaling. So this might be fixed with the quick Euler filter. Yep, it shifted all those curves, so that should smooth that out. Yeah, that's all that was. I was like, the translation arc is there, but it still seems to be jumping quite a bit. So now that hand's a lot smoother through there. Make sure I didn't break the arc too much here. Cool, way better. So now we got that jiggly arm here where it kind of relaxes on 17. So let's go and adjust that. I'm gonna pull open the arc tracker just to keep our eye on this so we can see where that path is and try to not go off the path too much. Maybe I'll relax this one a little. There's still a little bit of a wobble in there, but I don't mind it so much now. I think it feels a lot more contained, almost like like it's part of his muscle vibration from that arm coming out so quick. So I think it's working there. And then there was one big pop that came right after that. On frame 25, yeah, there's this quick, I guess the body turns a lot there. Let's analyze this. Got maybe too much of an uptick there in the rotation at the end. And it's still wigging out. I think I'm just gonna frame by frame this and see if I lose anything in particular. Kind of watching this part of the forearm. see how this looks. There. So even that little jiggly section now is more stable. There's still a little tiny little bit of like vibration there, but I don't think it's drawing anywhere near the attention that it had before, and I think it's quite watchable to really focus on what he's doing there. We could potentially play around with like finger stuff here and focus on like the foot pickup so that doesn't lock out, but I'm gonna save that for like polish. Those are small detail things. Here I would like to reduce that drift that happens right here with that arm. Forearm to get there a little bit quicker. Still a little bit of drift there. So maybe I can. What is that? Mainly on rotate Z. That move. Let's see what that looks like in the graphic. Oh yeah, there's kind of like a big move up there. This view's fine. Yeah, it was mainly that little bit of rotation that was happening there on that rotate Z that was bugging me. And we just really reduced that. I could go see about the other ones too. Let's check. Not too bad on these. Yeah, I think that arm's more solid now. Cool. So I think that's the first section pretty much resolved. Like I said, we could still try to get rid of that little wiggle, but yeah, I mean, even at this point, this is a polished detail because it's not a very obvious. It's not a very obvious jiggle going on there now, like it was. And then here on the catch, I'm just gonna work out, I think, to 41 here. For the catch. Try to make that a bit more impactful. Let's try to zero in on anything that needs to change with the cog there. Let's take a quick look at it. Yeah, so right here, there's a bit of clunkiness, right? And he gets. Let's take a look at where this really starts to move. So this hits him and starts sending him back, and then here it's a bit slow. And bringing the body back. There's a weight shift over. I think that weight would still be over on this side. And then here, we probably go further back as we go down. Yeah, that feels better to me. I think the weight would probably still be up. We do want this to pop, so I think I do want that weight shift to be dramatic. Because he's getting hit by that hammer, essentially. And then when he comes forward, we'll sort that out here in a minute. And so just camera view. Yeah, I think that feels better here in the, and then in terms of the catch here, like if we had, like this is a 1-frame jump, and all that feels quite slow there. If we stamp a key of everything on 30, and then what if we delete 29? I'm gonna mess up that cog arc a bit with what I'm changing here. But then I could like reduce the time here. I think that feels better. So this should be the biggest spacing jump, and then slightly smaller, but now it kind of gets back there, you know? Gets back there quicker, where it really feels like it flew into his hand. He had to kind of catch that momentum and slow it down. And then so one of the other main things I'm feeling is the cog being quite, or the hammer being quite slow back here. So boom, boom. Yeah, he's just too slow right through here. I think this hammer's coming down. I'm gonna try to make that loop bigger, see how that feels. Check our arc here. Again, we're going off reference here. I'm not following, anything. I'm just trying to come up with something. I'm gonna try to save the rotation for later. Just work out this arc really quick, best I can. so that it feels like it's not too static there in the catch. That might even be too much movement now. From camera view, I'm kind of favoring this bottom here, bottom arc. Yeah, this needs to come forward more. It's kind of stuck too much. I think that screen right arm isn't too bad still too. This kind of comes out a little too wide there, but you know, we'll tweak that stuff once we settle down on this hammer rotation. It's hammer rotation and translation. I think the body is working pretty well through here. I don't think we need a major adjustment to anything there, but we could use a little bit more. Now that the hammer's moving through here, I think we use some more chest twist. And we'd like to have it on the mid spine too. So I think I'm gonna find the moment where it's, that's happening on 35 is where this is coming back the most. It's going to come back. Then I'm just going to go a couple frames earlier and say that's where the chest kind of catches up and twists a little extra. We do this precisely because it'll be easily too much. So we're just kind of cleaning up this curve so that it goes towards a proper extreme. And this could, of course, mess up the hammer a little bit, but that's all right. Gotta work out the torso first. And there's probably too much now. On that. There we go, so we reduce that a little. Now this chest twist. Getting a little funky right through here. Kind of a gimbal-y situation. Could easily be here. But we've got a flat curve right there. You know, if we set another key here on 33, and then send it a little extra here, we should be easing into that. Oops. Let's ease in a bit. And I think that's working better now. So now that it feels like it's all connected, could potentially make this more dramatic. See if we break anything. No, I don't think that broke anything, and it just made that a bit more intense. Head of the characters now kind of out of whack from that. We can adjust the hand rotation. That needs some work there. It looks a little busted here. Trying to create like a little bit of a figure eight there to maintain our arc side to side and have that progressing and not getting too linear anywhere, and just seeing what that's going to get me. At the same time, I could probably reduce this distance here. Maybe I can keep this up higher longer. Maybe not dip the arm down so much to try to maintain this L shape here for strength. Yeah, I think that's working better. Yeah, I like that. And then one quick thing I'll do here is just grab that hand pose here for an adjustment. And this just twisted around too quickly and got too off base with the forearm, I think. There we go. I think that arm looks better now. This lockout isn't so great right there. There's a pop, but the hand position is better. We can fix this by changing the overall position of this hammer by bringing it in. We could also add some. We can also add some stretch to that hand. What's better here? How does it look from camera view? We were kind of seeing the hammer, which is nice. If I bring it in, we lose track of it all. I like what this does for the arm pose, but we're not even gonna friggin' see it, you know? So I think I'll try some stretch here. And that's kind of a cheat you could do too, especially since it's not in camera view. What is stretching? Can I add some extra to that? Yeah, I guess I have to add length instead of just adding stretch. So I'm gonna key this a bit here. Just want to be very conscious of how much length I add to this and have it not grow to where it's super noticeable. So actually, let me grab my locator, grab this, and I'll just make sure there's a key on everything there for wherever there's a key on that locator, there's a key for this. That way, I'm adding keys in the same spot and not overdoing them. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of stretch here. That should help us in this view to see this arm and then see that that forearm is very relaxed, even though from here it looks weird. Same deal here. So we're just always maintaining that L shape even from this camera view, and that arm doesn't pop on us, even though from here it's clearly stretching and growing, like Stretch Armstrong, right? We can't tell from camera view. Sweet. So that's way better. We'll worry about hammer rotation. That that off arm later, and even the smear later. For now, it's good enough. Now we'll just scale the whole thing out to see from there on. So 36 to 40. Yeah, I'll just do 36, I think, to kind of see how some of that hammered arc connects. Boom, boom. So the first thing I'm going after is this cog here, like usual. Actually, did we, with the catch, I can't remember now. We did have this dip down here, right? And then it launched up. Okay, just so I remember how that connects. So first thing I'm gonna do is just have, we'll still have the big weight shift in one frame, maybe not as big. And then the difference is we're just gonna ease from there for the rest of the shot. So I'll bring this down. I'm gonna back this off a bit. Just gonna ease the whole way, screen left. Still too big of a jump for this initial part. A little too poppy. And so this is where we're gonna pop up to hit that high point. And then immediately after that, I think we're gonna back off. If this is where we're going to end, though, I'll only back off a little to ease into that as well. Let's see how that feels. So now it's a lot cleaner to watch that ending. We kind of want him to stick that pose and hold. And all we did is adjust the cog so far. There's still... you know, the severe clunkiness in the spine and stuff to work out with the arm. If I back this up a little bit more, actually, I think we're taking too long through here to bring that arm up. And I'd like to really throw the body into this more. Maybe with the cog, before I play with the timing, we'd stay lower longer. So maybe I could launch him up very quickly. I think that's kind of working. Kind of keep him down a little longer, and then he pops up. And it's just like we're trying to simulate the idea that he has a little bit of extra weight here that he's trying to sling to bring himself up. We can keep the hammer back a bit longer. Boom. Boom. Yeah, that's kind of working. What I do want to change is the timing there. So we kind of, from 36 to 40, it's kind of taken a while to shift over and start coming up, even though he's hanging lower, which we wanted to do. And I could probably push this. This is kind of weird. Mess with that more in polish. Anyway, let's adjust this timing here before I get down that rabbit hole. Those adjustments. So I'm going to slide everything back a few frames here. Between 36 and 40, so now it should be a lot snappier in there because we're not taking so long here on the way up. Should be able to take the hip here on this as well and overshoot that. This is a little poppy jiggle in the body there. The head and the spine is still too much, but I think the lower half of the body is working better. It doesn't really lag so much in getting up there. The hammer, let's see. I think we're getting caught right through here, taking a while. Could keep the arm down longer in here, and now I got keyframes, like key every frame there, so I'll probably change this. Let's see, what does that curve temperature look like? I think I keep that shape. through here. It's taking a while. I'm gonna spread this out a bit. Now I think that spacing's working better. Still think I can keep this arm back. Now we have to come forward here. That's what the body's doing. To drive that up. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I think that's feeling better now through there. Let's double check the camera view. Just really didn't want that hammer spacing to be like strange through here. Like it's slower than faster than slower in the middle in like a subtle way. Just wanted to feel like it's always speeding up on the way up. Boom. Yeah. So that's cooler. It's that spot, and then you can, like I said earlier, we can work on the hammer rotation and stuff soon. Like I said earlier, we can work out the hammer rotation and polish. So the hand rotation with it, so it looks as good as it can. Sorted out some of that stuff right through here. Kept that L shape in his arm, and then drove that up. Kind of want I'm watching the end of this triangle here. I could also just turn that off and use the rotate icon here to guide me. Rotate axis. Trying to create a bit of a dip in the chest here. So he rolls and throws the hammer up into the air, like dips down and then lifts his spine up. Don't like this move with the base spine right here where it all of a sudden just tilts extra. I think I gotta bring that down sooner. So we get the overshoot here, then it should dial back probably a lot more to be really close to this. Now that that's smoother, the upper chest and mid-spine controls, of course. Could probably add a bit more drag here. So I'm gonna see, is this happening as well to the, yeah, it's happening in the mid-spine too. So let's get the mid-spine too really quick. So we get pop, and mid-spine goes extra. I'm gonna dial that back so this is a pop. And translate Z. Ease into that, and this is the overshoot, right? Now it's only in the chest there for that rotatesy. So this happens, you know, like you get an idea when you're in stepped and you try to put in all the extra little holds and settles and stuff, and then when you get into auto tangent, you see it's just too much, and you come back to like simplify things. It's a common process, I feel like. And here, we're just doing too much. Same deal again. All of this is going to ease into that next key, so I'm just going to use this slider to do it quickly rather than to try to spend a bunch of time by hand. Now I don't mind the pop here because there's all this cushion settle that's nice and easy going. There's a little bit of a twist there that I think we can sort out, but the main crux of the issue has been cleaned up. The neck and the head, we still need to calm down. Need to have a overshoot on them here, I would say, somewhere right around here. Checking the final. So kind of I still want him looking up, you know, the whole time. We'll just have to have a little bit of a shift left and right. Well, too much of a turn here. And then that head is a lot more focused. Couldn't possibly translate this a bit, provided it doesn't break stuff too much. Maybe I can translate it up. Tiny amount there. And then here. A little too jiggly. A little bit of squash here. It's hitting too hard. Maybe just enough to show the force in the neck and the head without it looking like he's getting a hemorrhage. Might calm that down a little bit more and polish, but I think that's looking way better through there, right in the body. Now we're getting the force in that moment because of the pop, but it's not so much that it's really jarring and we can't see what's happening. So huge win there. I think the rest of the stuff was going to be just the twisting in the torso, and then working out that arm here as it holds. By the way, if you're very serious about becoming a professional animator for movies or games as fast as you can, you should consider unlocking Pro Mode if you haven't already. You're going to get harder challenges that build off the ones you have here, so you can truly become a pro faster. But they're only available to the people who have committed and decided to unlock them, which you can do so for free by going to unlockpromode.com. So why not? At this point, our animation is working for the most part, but we're going to clean some things up and basically call this the polish phase. Just looking at this, like I said, most of this is working. I think the biggest work that we have to do is at the end with this arm and hammer. We need a much better arc and settle to it. We need some actual rotations on that hand, we need that hand to not hit a wall, so it's so kind of stiff and clunky there. There's underlying all that, less obvious maybe to the naked eye, is the body work here, where we can build in a bit of a roll here into the body, a better arc coming up with this. And some better arcs in the cog, little bits like this drift at the end that we want to clean up. I think the head is also overshooting a little too much, taking too long to recover for my taste. And then to a more minor degree, there is, some leg popping here and there that we could clean up, some bits of this off arm that we could clean up. And then the last thing for fun would just be to add some lightning with the lightning rig. So that's what we're going to do. And then we'll be done with this Thor animation. So I think starting off, I'll grab the cog here and just see what we can do about cleaning up arcs. Try to work from the ground up. You know, the most important controller first. Always good to kind of keep that with every pass you do in cleaning up your animation. Maybe the easiest thing here would just be work visually with this arc tracker for the moment. So let's see, just arc-wise, if there's anything funky here. Even if it's minor that we could clean up. There we go, this opening move here. It's a little clunky through there. That arc isn't super clean, so I think our weight is shifting to this screen right leg. We want to make that pronounced. So I'm gonna just kind of visually go and add a little bit more of that. Round some of this stuff out if I can help it. Not anything super crucial for our animation, but just makes things a little bit smoother overall. And we got that quick drop down, which is nice. Because that gives us weights. We're gonna keep that, and then his step forward here into this. It's a little weird. So just what I remember, right? We're catching the hammer. We don't want him to really feel like he's anticipating and starting to go backwards before that happens. So I don't want this key on 26 to kind of leave this path so quick. I'm gonna push this over here. And then I'm gonna try to ease this in the whole time through there. Be very, very minor movements. And then I'd say let's try to curl into that with a better arc. And then on our way back, right, we've got an arc like this coming in. So we're kind of getting shot back by the hammer. I think we can kind of get away with something where the weight is, you know, we have an arc kind of coming out. That's my idea there. We kind of keep that path. And then back here. Back here, I think we can probably have a bit more of a dip here where he's kind of hanging lower before he shoots his weight up. Maybe I can keep him back a little bit more. So we're just kind of going straight ahead with this stuff and seeing if things play a little bit smoother, you know? These little things. This ending doesn't have a very nice arc, right? We could really curl this stuff better. Whoops. Make sure my poly selects off. So here we can just go into our graph editor, double check these curves, these tangents. Auto that a little bit. You know, this is stuff that we wouldn't go into the graph editor and do. You know, we wouldn't look for those kinds of straight curves. The drop off here is a little strange too. Maybe we stay up a little bit longer and then we come down. I want to keep that stuff small though. And then this is a bit strange. Pop up and then push them higher maybe. Okay, and then there's just a little bit of drift at the end. And as long as we don't move it too much there, it should be okay. this would either this would kind of stay straight here, like kind of fall in this direction, right, that we've kind of set up here. I think that's what we're gonna do. Let's try just bringing them forward here. That we added all that arc, right? Maybe we'll have it come over a little bit, because I kind of like it coming onto the screen left leg. So we're just doing some straight ahead smoothing out on this cog to try to make it that much better, that much cleaner of a route for the rest of our animation. So you know, all of our overlapping and changes to the limbs and the spine, all that stuff goes better, and hopefully, you know, there's a subtle change to where it feels just a bit smoother. Okay, these are nice things to think about and polish. Okay. And maybe here, we can round this out a little bit more. I don't think we've broken anything too much. We've got, you know, poppy legs, but that's fine. We can use stretch or heel raise to sort that stuff out. Just gonna round this out a little bit from this angle here in this beginning arc. Kind of keep our weight over the screen left leg here before it shifts to the screen right side. We could, you know, go in frame by frame to make it perfectly archy. No, it's just a little smoother. So I think that's cool. Let's now, let's check camera view real quick, make sure we didn't get anything too drifty, especially at the end. I'll hide this. Yeah, cool. So now we'll move on to just some of the spine stuff here. I really don't want to have this much drift here at the end. You see how it's affecting the limbs and the spine here. It might be on the cog a little bit too, but I'm gonna try to tone this stuff down. Maybe I'll just get here a little bit quicker, and that might be enough. Now, I think we can do something similar here with the hip. Check the rotation here. Okay, cog's not affected. We kept that clean, good. And then maybe I change the drop here. Maybe it's not such a drop off. I think I'm gonna just keep him upright. Or I could drop him down sooner. You want to kind of hang this back a little. Pop them up a little bit more dramatically there. Boom. Okay. Maybe we want to keep some of the pop that was there. So I could kind of come up here and flatten this out a little bit. Kind of, it's almost kind of getting back what we had there in that section. So I thought we lost a little pop in the up and down of the cog there. But I think it's cleaner overall with the other changes we made. I think the hip here could have the hip go a little bit farther maybe, and then as it swings over here, I don't want it to hit a wall. I'm gonna keep this back. I'm gonna drop it down as well. Maybe that's too much. Tone that down, and then we'll just add like a little bit of ease in there. So we kind of hit this extreme rotation, right? We go just a little bit farther over the next few frames, and then we relax it. Now let's try to clean up some of this arc. I think here, if maybe I'll just start with the chest and then kind of rework in the midsection there. So with this, so looking at the circle of his armor there, you can see that the arc kind of dies in this section. So I'm going to try to round this out a little bit more. I'll just kind of go object mode to be a little bit more freeform. And hopefully I can get this kind of him rolling through here a bit better and coming up into this kind of nice arc. And probably even in this section, we can get a little bit better arc there too. So like here, we could actually have it kind of coming down a little bit more. Just trying to round that out so we can feel his chest really twisting through here to lift that hammer. So I think that's given us some much more organic motion right through there, and we can offset the arm to drag behind it a little bit more. You know, we just gotta include the mid spine a little bit more, and this is where it can get a little messy because we have to go back and adjust the chest a little to make that work. So I often find the mid-spine kind of annoying because you're just trying to make it connected and do the right thing. Like it's just supposed to follow along with the rest of the, you know, the lower spine and the chest, really. But here we are, anyway. We could use an IK chest, but then you gotta work on arcs on there and can easily go off model. It's got its own challenges. So I think now I'm dipping too much down here to the side. I'm gonna back that off a little and just try to maintain what we had. Boom. Okay, so I think that hits nice. That's gonna help us when it comes to cleaning up the arms and the hammer and the head. You know, we would want to add the spine stuff first. Otherwise, there'd be a lot of reworking going on. And this hip is a little distracting for me. So I'm just gonna, I think, reduce the twisting that it's doing. Let's come here and maybe now I could do like a scale to average. So I'm just kind of squeezing this curve to kind of go to the middle. Zoom in here, you just kind of see that. But then I think I still want that to twist quite a lot. So I'm gonna raise the whole thing up. Now that's a lot more contained. Cool. Let's work on the neck and the head, which needs a little love now, especially with the changes we made to the chest here. So I think through here, we need that to kind of lean back a little bit. We've got to kind of counter animate the head to keep him looking kind of where he is and then not hit walls. So here, I think he just kind of adjusts his head forward too much. I'm just gonna try to animate it from camera to straight ahead to kind of keep him back there. And then here, he's jutting his neck out a lot. I think I'll keep that back again. Here. I think I'm still gonna keep him back here. Don't want him to feel like his head juts out so much. And then here we're getting kind of stuck. So I'm gonna... A good thing to track here with your eyes would be just the eyeballs, just to kind of watch the path that it takes. We're getting a little bit linear right through here. So I'm trying to ease this transition right here. Don't really want that much. Countering here. He's going to be kind of keeping his head back. And then rotate it down through here. Kind of stay focused. One of the things we could do here is not let the head go too far to the left. Kind of keep him back. And then rotate this, I think, less. I think his eye direction is a little off, but the main motion is better. I think this is probably just too much. Here, we'll want to calm that down. So trying to keep his eye direction the same, trying to not have his head jut out too much and screw up that arc kind of coming around here, even though the body's popping. It's counter animating that. Better, and then here I'm gonna have a quicker recovery. So here I want to get to 51 quicker. I think I'll yeah, maybe 49 is like pretty close to that already. And I don't think I'll have it go quite so far over here. Just making those rotations smaller and having it kind of recover faster. A lot more stable. And let's just add make sure we've got that little bit of motion here. Cool. So now to me, the head feels a lot more stable, a lot less wobbly, less likely to give him a concussion. And it works through here, even though the chest is really doing a lot of rotation. It's staying pretty stable. His eyes still feel like they're focused on target and headed where we want his eye direction, his head kind of to be pointed. So with all that being in there, let's work on the hammer. So we got the hammer kind of hitting this extreme, and the arc on it is pretty messy. You can see that here. Let's zoom in. You kind of hit this wall, and that was our initial plan, I think, to overshoot here and then just pop back. And then things get really linear through this section, and it doesn't feel connected to what the body is doing. Like the chest kind of relaxes here. Kind of relaxes here and then kind of twists again, almost like it's going back up. So I think we're gonna have the hammer try to coincide with that. And to start, where we hit this position, we hit it so fast, I think we have a couple of frames to continue kind of going higher than we need to. Maybe not that high. Just a little bit extra to kind of soften that blow to the arm overshoot. Then we bring the hammer over to the side. Maybe I have this over here too. And we're going to lift the hammer back up here at the end. So I think I'm going to have this dip down some. This is going to be some straight ahead stuff. Just trying to find that happy medium between our, our final pose, what we can achieve with that straight arm without it being locked out. How long we can have the hammer kind of come over to the side. Okay, so I'm still not happy with that hammer arc. I think it's better with the overlap, but I think we need make some tweaks there. And then I think there's something I forgot to add with the chest that I think would be a nice addition here. So you see here how we overshoot and then we come back and then it just kind of stays there and there's this solo twisting rotation. I think I want to have the chest somewhere right in here, dip down. See if that adds a little something there. And then we're gonna have it come back up a little through here. Okay, so that's part of it, I think. Yeah, I think that feels a bit better. Now it feels like that chest is really dropping down, and then that's going to influence the hammer there, which is going to help us. It's going to affect our hammer arc too and the shape of our arm. Let's then take the hammer here, and that's where we hit the pose. And then I think the very next frame, we're not gonna go over too quickly, too far yet, but I'm gonna go up there, and then I'm gonna drop down immediately. So I'm gonna get rid of that frame. And bring the hammer down and across more. I think here we'll have it maybe lower overall. Lower. And then here we'll have the hammer bend a bit. And then, yeah, I'm trying to create like a quick zip over screen left to like settle this motion. And this feels like it's just going a little too far to the right. Maybe bring this up again a little bit more. Okay. And that way that arm goes boom right there. And I think we can have this final pose over here somewhat. And so maybe we keep some of that. Some of that transition screen left there. And we'll settle it up. So I'm gonna have this be just a little bit higher. And if we take a closer look at that arc, it's not popping up. There we go. It's working pretty well. I'm just going to try to round this out a little bit. we just kind of settle this way, where we shoot past, come down, and come over. And I think in terms of our forward and back motion here as well. Kind of rounding that stuff out. Let's see how that feels. Yeah. Now I think with some hammer overlap, let's play that one more time. The arm doesn't distract me as much. The hammer arc feels like it has a better settle to me. I think that's working way better. We're just keeping the super stretch a little too long. I didn't have enough calming time here for this to actually go somewhere and settle there. I think the chest really helps with that. So now let's just add some of that overlap in there. And we'll get to the wrist as well, which will help. I think I'm just gonna straight ahead here. Do I want to keep this pose with this hammer? Should I have it turned a little? I think having it turned a little is nice. Maybe we keep that. Could go either way there. So we'll just have like a little bit of a twist. Maybe we're further there and then we kind of twist back some. And similarly, maybe the hammer comes a little bit further forward and then back. And now we've got a lot of twist there that we don't need. Yeah, I think that's working. I think that's working pretty good. The we could get really picky with this and have some overshooting, like rotation here. Where this comes forward. Maybe this is back and then that comes forward more. And there's that little bit of delay as that hammer comes down and then back up. And here maybe we come forward a little. It might be overdoing this very easily and getting too much motion in our camera. But I figure why not go for it. I think we are fighting a bit of gimbaling with this controller. Yeah, let's see what kind of gimbal situation. Oh yeah, we're totally fighting some gimbal, so it's way more complicated than it needs to be. You can swap the rotation order of this. You could skip this little detail. It's not a big deal for you. You could also alternatively just go ahead and use one of the other controllers to get the clean rotation this way. just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to use this tool by Morgan Loomis that's free to swap the rotation order. It's going to swap the rotation order. It's going to keep my animation the same. I'll probably talk about that at a later date. I didn't want to really focus on these fancy tools in case you guys weren't used to them for this animation here. No, I think that's playing out better. Might be too much though. Yeah, it's too much. It feels super light now. There's too much drag here. And we should go a little bit higher, just for that arm to extend out more. Oops. Do want him to feel like he's really extending his arm there at the end. So I think we bring it up a little bit quicker. Turn our arc tracker here for all these in-betweens. And don't drop as low. Extended the whole time. And I think rotation's okay. I'm not over the moon about the hammer rotation, but I think it's working. It's working just well enough to not be super noticeable. Anyway, we're getting really zeroed in there. I'm going to now work on the rotation of the hand to just make more sense through all of this and be in a much better position. And we're going to be almost done with this because all that's really left is the lightning and the cleaning up of the popping on the legs, which we could probably just speed through that because that's really just heel raise. Okay, so really quickly, let's adjust this hand here. I think we're going to need a combination of the main camera views here, or the main camera view and then the perspective. The wrist is a bit torqued, so it's kind of like, should be more like this. I should be able to also kind of reposition it, hopefully without having it lock out too much. There in a final pose, and we can just kind of repose the fingers to be a little bit lower there, and it'll look like he's really gripping it better. But I think that's working pretty well. I'm gonna copy that to 52. Have it fall just a little there. It doesn't lock out entirely. Maybe I'll change that to be the Final resting position here. Let's see really quickly how that looks here. Okay, I think that's working. Now here, let's go to this pose really quickly. Just wanna add a little bit of this on there. And that's also going to push the hand out a little bit for us. And then we're up here. And this position's a bit broken. So I'm gonna do that with the hand. Maybe bring it back some. This changes our arcs from the wrist and the you know, the length of the stretches. But hopefully not too much, and we should kind of maintain what we had. Okay, so here. Mainly I'm trying to keep that wrist in line with the forearm and also have it looking like it's really gripping the hammer. This is kind of off a bit. This camera view, I would rather that tassel be lower, so that's kind of like a polishy thing, but the only thing I want to change here is just how much this hand really rotates there. I'd rather it doesn't do that. Maybe we can blend it a little bit here so it's not as noticeable by having some rotation on this frame. Pretty drifty, not really digging that. You get most of the way there. Okay, I'll have to tone this back, I think, some. And then just use more translation to keep that in line. Here we just got too much. I'm just watching the fingers rotate up. I just want to ease that stuff a little bit. A lot more flush there, so too much rotation there. See how easy it is to just do too much. These subtle moves. That's where the graph editor can come in handy. And I'm just going to copy this over, see if I can make that work. And I think that's working pretty well. Maybe it comes down just a little so the arm doesn't jiggle there. All right, graph editor here. Splitting hairs in the viewport. So just trying to... grabbing the wrong axis. I am. These little moves can sometimes drive you crazy. This locator is twisted all weird. Acting a bit strange on us. You could just frame by frame those things. You could also change the rotate order on here because I think they're quite gimbal. Yeah, we're kind of flirting with that line there. Okay, yeah, we'll call that good there, and we'll just do the leg lockouts and lightning. Now let's do some hopefully quick cleanup here on this this leg or both the legs wherever they pop. And I'm just gonna look for the moments that they do and try to remedy that. So here they're locking out. I'm gonna go ahead and give us a little bit of heel roll here. I would imagine that's most of what we're gonna need to solve this issue. And then I'm looking for it to lock out, so it relaxes there. The roll is much higher on this frame. So I'll go ahead to where Looks like it maxes out the most. Suddenly it relaxes there. Try and get that up there a little bit sooner, I think. Yeah. It drops down too early here, so just go ahead and give a little bit more of that so it doesn't walk out. I'll probably just bump this up. That way it's not distracting for this beginning move on this leg at least. And then there's a little bit here. It takes a little too long to engage. Okay, it's pretty good there. And then this one for sure. Let's just work backwards from the ending pose here. Don't want it to be locked out. Jump over to that section here really quickly. Here we go up higher than the rest. Could go ahead and add stretch automatically to this. Yeah, I'll try it for the whole shot, just see how that goes. Because I don't think it's just going to make it stretch in weird places or anything. Here I just want to watch that knee and see it blend into this one, hopefully. So maybe here we have a little bit more. And then over these frames we're going to have more. Want that to be subtle through here. It's a little weeble wobbly there. It's too much of a dramatic change there, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of bump all this up so it's a much more subtle thing. Yeah, and I think we're pretty good there on that knee. And his foot is like off the floor, but that's more just the style of this rig being the toes there. The controller is still intact. We could probably use some of these other controllers to get the toe to work. And I think I could use a bit of foot bank here actually. So if we bank the foot here, that would help. Start using a little bit. Just watching this ankle line, so giving that some relief, so it doesn't look like it's a broken bone there. And just give it a little bit of ease, so it doesn't seem frozen. Pretty simple there. See if we need that anywhere else. We could have like a little bit here. think we'll have that toe pivot there. I think that's working pretty well. It's just like a little floaty. I think I just want that toe pivot to kind of reach a bit sooner. Get a little bit snappier and kind of rotating. And that kind of messes with our roll here a little bit. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty stable now. I don't think we're overdoing it. According to shot cam, which I moved around. And then this leg, we'll just go ahead and make sure that's similar boat and it's not doing anything too crazy. So here's a bit of a wobble on this leg here. Let's go ahead and maybe I don't know, it's got the stretch on there already. I'll use the anti-pop for this because I'm not really wanting to have the heel raised just after the heel kind of contacted. It's gonna be like doing too much. So I'm just watching this corner of the knee. Good enough. And then here we could probably have some foot bank on there. Okay, that's something I even did in the reference. Banking my foot, and you could like have a bit of toe rotation or a little bit of heel raise and then toe rotation. That could be nice for how fast that hammer kind of affects things. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab all this stuff here. Let's see, where is he gonna come back? I'd say somewhere right around there. Stamp a key there, and then I'm going to take 29, copy that to 36. So it's kind of just holding in that bank, and then he'll plant it down through there. Rotate it back, plant the foot down, and all I need to really do is create maybe like a little bit of ease in there so it's not dead. Maybe it's subtly starting to go back. And then use like a little bit more foot roll here. That's better there. And then this ending section here, of course, get that pop right here on this leg. Add a little bit of heel raise. Keep it down for a little while longer until he steps up onto that. And then here, a little bit more. I'm not gonna set a key there. It's just too much. same thing for this ending. I want that knee to come backwards here on 40, so I'm gonna start engaging that heel a little bit earlier. Hits right there and kind of stops. I'm gonna back off here. Maybe add a little bit more on 40. Maybe add a little bit more on 42. Use anti-pop here too. Work on that. I don't really want that knee jumping forward as much as it does here, so. I can. I would like to reduce this move back that it has. Anti-pop's not giving that to me. Could potentially just reduce some of the leg length right here. I'm gonna cheat that. A little much. So yeah, I think that's close enough. Keeps the arm, the knee from not popping too boldly, keeps the leg, from locking out. And I'd say that's good. So now let's get on to the lightning, call that done. Now we're going to add the lightning bolt and wrap up our Thor shot. We're gonna be using the lightning bolt from Candy Rigs here. It's free, you can just grab that from there and put the link in the description for you. And I'm gonna drag and drop one of these in to the scene. So we can put that in for when he calls the lightning here at the end. I've never used this before, so this will be interesting. We'll kind of figure it out as we go. I looked a little bit at that video that I showed, but not too heavily, so it's pretty new to me. I'm gonna move this over here, and then scale this up, I suppose. Some big lightning. Calling down the thunder. I could just take the whole thing probably and tilt it to the side a bit. And my idea here is to maybe put another one over here and kind of tilt this that way. Maybe I'll go ahead and bring in another rig. I think just for the sake of brevity, I'll animate this one, and then off camera I'll animate the other, just so we can have that done. And I'm gonna try to keep it pretty simple. There's a lot more we can do with the lightning in terms of like when the hammer arrives, we could have lightning bolts there, and we could have more effects that are kind of like tunneling around him here in the background that kind of complement the lightning. But I'm just gonna keep it simple and let you invent from here with whatever you think would be cool. So bring this over here as well and scale this up quite a bit. And this over here. Just kind of do that. And then we got to figure out where these are getting messy with controllers now, aren't they? We can hide some of the Thor stuff. I'll just roll with this. And this is supposed to, I believe, turn the bolt on and off, so we can kind of animate that. And let's bring it down to where our animation kind of finishes. It's here, 63. Bring that down here. Bring that down here, and let's key this on 63. And then it's already got some speed to it, so that's kind of cool. And let's see here. Maybe this is where it turns on, so I will have this kind of go down to 0-ish. And then it's gonna skyrocket up here. I'll just give it 2 frames. And let's see what else we can do here. Could add some thickness to it. Let's make the bolts bigger. I don't know if I want to do that. Let's also just grab our other speeds here. And this is what I get by default. And this one is on, so that one is working, not the other one. Turn the other one on, that gets a little funkier. And the speed. Crank up to 2. The wave is, I'll move the wave up a bit and see what happens. Okay. Now I'm getting a better idea. Shorten the wave, get more intensity through that. I don't know why the playback keeps hiding it until I select the control, but there we have it. And then what will this do? Oh, that's nice. Let's try that really quickly. I'm just trying to see if I can make this a bit cooler with some of these different settings. Anything you can do to amp it up. That's a bit much. down the amplitude because it's a bit too big. I think that's good enough. From here, I would like to quickly just create a cube, and I'm going to make a material on this by going to render or Windows rendering editors hypershade, and I'll make a material for this. Just create a quick Lambert material, and I'll call this call this flash, and I do want to select the geometry here, and I'll assign that material to it by right-click assign, and then I'm going to open up that material, and I'm going to make it pretty transparent. I could try making it solid color. I think I'm just going to try to have it flash here in a minute. I'm not sure if I want to do blue or yellow, but my idea is for this screen space to see it flash here. So just do that. And I'm going to try to flash it like lightning on and off by going to visibility. So here we're going to key the visibility on, and here it'd be off, and then it'd be off again. So giving us that lightning effect. And I think I'm just going to go see if I can get kind of like a quick flash there. And let's see what it looks like if it's blue, just out of curiosity. So let's go kind of select the same blue color. See how that plays. Could also be like white, maybe. That, I don't think the blue is coming through strong enough. And maybe I'll reduce some of the transparency a second. It's almost as if we had that, full flash. Yeah, I kind of like the white, maybe over the yellow. That way we're getting a sense of like there is some lightning flash that's happening, that burst of light, and then we see the beam come in. Man, I had a blast making this Thor animation and kind of experimenting all along the way to figure out what we were creating and how to push it further. I hope you did too. I hope you picked up a lot of new things about the body mechanics in terms of weight, in terms of balance, interconnecting the whole body, creating powerful moments for the body and really controlling that, keeping it contained so it's easy to watch and doesn't get too jiggly or poppy when you don't want it to. Those are all things that are really going to help you down the line as an animator, just like it would for a pro doing any kind of action shot or even into acting pieces. If you felt like you struggled with this one, feel free to come back to this. This is what this is all about. You don't have to hit this at 1,000% home run out of the park the first time you do it. Come back if this was a challenge, or revisit the animations that came before this. There's also going to be new challenges that come right after this that may help you develop these skills in a different way that just helps you kind of make things click, and then you can come back to this. So just keep animating is the name of the game. That said, did you have a blast with this Thor animation, or was this a super hard challenge for you? Let me know in the comments. I want to know how things are progressing for you as we continue on this 28-day journey. Now click or tap the screen for more animation lessons, and I will see you in the next animation challenge. Happy animating.